Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we're taking a pretty fascinating journey right into the architecture of your own brain. If you've ever felt like your highly intelligent mind is, well, both a total superpower and an incredibly heavy weight to carry, yeah, you're absolutely in the right place. We're going to explore exactly why your brain moves the way it does, and maybe more importantly, how to navigate those complex daily social interactions when your thoughts start feeling like an endless labyrinth. Let's just dive straight into it. Picture this. You wake up, and instantly, the mental machinery starts whirring. Does your brain feel, honestly, exactly like a web browser with 50 tabs open, and you literally cannot figure out which one is playing that loud, chaotic music, right? You might find yourself just wishing you could hit a switch and turn off your thoughts for like a single hour. It's a seriously exhausting way to start the day, and it can leave you feeling kind of like an outsider looking into a world that just seems so much simpler to everybody else. But here's the really good news. This isn't a flaw. You're not weird, and you're definitely not broken. What you have is what our sources actually call the labyrinthine mind. Think of it as a mental state where your brain acts like a supercomputer that literally never shuts off. It's constantly exploring 10 different paths all at once, replaying past conversations, editing them like a Hollywood movie director. And sure, this gives you rare insight and really deep empathy, but it also creates this heavy, overwhelming burden of constant, nonstop processing. Which brings us to section 1, the okay text trap. Imagine you're just going about your day, right? Your phone buzzes, you look down, and you see a seemingly harmless message from a friend or a coworker. It's just 4 little letters. It simply says, okay, with a period at the end. Now, for most people walking down the street, this is just a quick confirmation, nothing to see here. But for the labyrinthine mind, oh man, this single word is a trapdoor into absolute chaos. Instantly, your brain transforms that one word into a full-blown psychological thriller. You don't just read the text. No, you start analyzing the exact tone. You question the punctuation. Like, why did they use a period? Are they being passive-aggressive? Suddenly, you're brainstorming all these reasons they might be mad at you, exploring 5 to 10 different angles, pros, cons, hidden motives. This is the textbook definition of analysis paralysis. The sheer weight of every single possibility just crushes your ability to process a simple message, and it leaves you totally exhausted. And that leads perfectly into section 2, the Swan defense mechanism. So as you move through your day, you rely on a specific coping strategy. This brilliantly illustrates what the sources called the Swan defense mechanism. And the contrast here is just striking. Above the water, to your coworkers, your friends, you project total control. You're the eye of the storm, right? Graceful, calm, perfectly collected, low maintenance. But below the water, you are paddling furiously. You are essentially playing a mental chessboard 10 moves ahead, frantically trying to anticipate everyone else's emotional landscape so you can manage it without anyone even noticing. So where does this exhausting performance actually come from? Well, this calm facade is almost always learned in childhood. For a lot of deep thinkers, playing the good child or remaining low maintenance was really the only way to feel safe in your environment. You grew up becoming this brilliant detective of microexpressions. You learned to read the silence in a room instead of listening to the words. And now, as an adult, you're still carrying all that heavy armor, trying to manage everyone's feelings before they even happen. All right, moving on to section 3, the gilded cage of detachment. So you've survived the day by playing the Swan. Awesome. But fast forward to late at night. You're lying in bed, the lights are out, and the labyrinth traps you in a completely different, honestly, much more isolated way. Suddenly, you're caught in a deep mental replay of a casual conversation from, 3 years ago? You might catch yourself literally laughing out loud alone in your room or feeling a massive rush of embarrassment over something incredibly minor. And the wildest part is, if you had to explain your train of thought to someone, it would take a 30-minute recap jumping through 5 different topics just to make sense of how you even got there. Now, the crucial point here is that this level of high intelligence actually leads to a dangerous trap, and that's emotional detachment. This is metacognition, basically thinking about your own thoughts. You get so good at this that you become a scientist of your own soul. You analyze your anxiety with clinical precision, maybe labeling it a cortisol spike triggered by a perceived social threat. But in doing so, you completely forget how to just sit with the simple, raw human feeling of being scared. The source material captures this so beautifully. It says, it's like knowing every chemical compound in a cake, but never actually tasting its sweetness. I mean, wow, that is the ultimate tragedy of the labyrinthine mind. You spend all your energy debugging your feelings, treating yourself like a software glitch that needs to be fixed, rather than actually experiencing the emotion itself. And when you do that, your beautiful, highly intelligent mind just turns into a gilded cage. So how do we fix this? Let's look at Section 4, Trading Mazes for the Path. The absolute most important thing to realize here is that the exit is not found through more overthinking. You simply cannot think your way out of a thinking problem. Instead, the exit is found through the radical act of being good enough. See, your labyrinthine mind is fueled by perfectionism, this false belief that if you just manage yourself flawlessly, you'll finally be safe. We really have to break that cycle. And to break perfectionism, you actually have to practice intentional imperfection. Try it. Send an email with a typo. Deliberately leave a dish in the sink overnight. Stop trying to max out and optimize every single moment of your day. By doing these small, slightly uncomfortable actions, you're actually rewiring your brain. You're teaching your nervous system that the world doesn't end when you drop the ball. It is genuinely okay to just exist. Next, when you feel yourself spiraling into that mental replay from 3 years ago, or you're caught in this psychological thriller of a one-word text message, I want you to gently stop, take a breath, and ask yourself this one single question. What do I feel in my body right now? Trade your clinical labels for raw physical data. Don't call it a cortisol spike. Call it what it physically is, a tightness in your chest or a cold pit in your stomach. Just bring your awareness right back to your physical self. And to help with that, here's a fantastic anchor you can use literally anywhere, the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding ritual. Take a deep breath. When those mental tabs are overwhelming, look around and name 5 things you can see in the room. Then, touch 4 things. Listen for 3 distinct sounds. This physical checklist pulls your awareness aggressively into the present moment. It signals directly to your brain's fear center that you are actually safe right now, and that hypervigilant security guard in your head can finally take a well-deserved rest. Your deep analytical mind really is a magnificent gift. It gives you incredible empathy and the ability to see the world in high definition. But you have to remember this foundational truth from the source material. You are a person to be experienced, not a problem to be solved. Healing isn't about figuring out how to think less. It's about learning how to think with a whole lot more kindness toward yourself. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a little something to ponder. If your mind wasn't so busy trying to anticipate every single move in the maze, what incredible things could it be building outside of it? I'd love to hear your thoughts, or maybe a weird habit of your own labyrinthine mind, so drop them in the comments below. It reminds us all that we aren't alone in the maze. Remember to put down the armor and be kind to your brilliant mind. Thanks so much for joining me, and take care.